Miss Nichol is in a pickle. Chapter 1. Cucumber, Pickles and Cucumber. My name is AJ and I hate vegetables. Why do I hate veggies? Because they grow in dirt, of course. I'm not gonna eat something that grows in dirt. And you know what dirt is, don't you? It's worm poop. That's right. When worms go to bathroom, it becomes dirt. The point is, it was Monday morning in Miss Banks' class. Good morning, Miss Banks, everybody said when she walked into the room. Oh, I'm not Miss Banks, she replied. Miss Banks is sick today. I'm her twin sister, Miss Banks. What? I didn't know Miss Banks had a twin sister. It was great news. If Miss Banks was out sick, her twin sister would be our sub. So we wouldn't have math, we wouldn't have social studies, we wouldn't have reading. This was the greatest day of my life. Just kidding, said Miss Banks. Don't have a sister. Time is fun when you're having flies. She tricked us again. Miss Banks pulled lots of pranks. We pledged the allegiance and did word of the day. And you'll never believe who walked into the door at that moment. Nobody. Why would you walk into a door? You could break your nose. But you'll never believe who walked into the doorway. I'm not going to tell you. Okay, I'll tell you. It was our principal, Miss Stoker. Good morning, fourth graders, she said. Say, do you know what kind of vegetable you get when an elephant walks through your garden? No, said Ryan, who will eat anything. Even stuff that isn't food. Beats me, said Michael, who never ties his shoes. I give up, said Andrea, this annoying girl with curly brown hair. I give up too, said Emily, Andrea's crybaby friend who does everything Andrea does. I have no clue, said Neil, who we call the nude kid even though he wears clothes. Me neither, said Alexia, this girl who rides a skateboard all the time. What kind of vegetable do you get when an elephant walks through your garden? Squash, she said. Shouted Miss Stoker. Get it? We get it, everybody replied. Miss Stoker is a joker. And do you know why the lettuce won the race? She asked. Because it was ahead. We all laughed again. You should always laugh at principal's jokes, even when they're not funny. That's the first rule of being a kid. But seriously, said Miss Stoker, I was in the cafeteria this morning and I noticed that almost all the food we serve for lunch is full of percival and cinnamon. Yum, I said, until I realized that was a bad thing. I mean, yuck. So, I guess what we're going to do, said Miss Stoker. Goes down to vomitorium? Asked Neil. No, replied Miss Stoker. And get healthier and cinnamon? Asked Ryan. No. Have pizza day for lunch every day? Have pizza for lunch every day? Asked Alexia. No, said Miss Stoker. We are going to start our own vegetable garden. What? That's right, continued Miss Stoker. We are going to plant seeds, water them, and harvest our own veggies in the field behind the school, and that we're going to eat them. Doesn't that sound fun? Yes, shouted all the girls. No, shouted all the boys. Oh man, I thought we were going to use that space behind the school to make a pickleball court. Pickleball is cool. That's when something occurred to me. Pickles are veggies. Hey, maybe we can plant pickles next to the pickleball court, I suggested. You can't plant pickles, Arlo, said Andrea, who calls me by my real name because she knows I don't like it. You plant cucumbers and then turn into pickles. Cucumbers turn into pickles. I didn't know that. I thought pickles turn into cucumbers. But it doesn't matter what turns into what. The point is, gardens are boring. And I'm not eating something that grows out of dirt. Gross. How about we grow candies in the garden? I suggested. Little Miss Perfect rolled her eyes. You can't grow candy, dumbhead, Andrea said. You grow fruits and veggies like cotton. Cotton, I said. If we can grow cotton, we can grow cotton candy. The human homework machine rolled her eyes again. Andrea is always rolling her eyes at me. I wish her eyes will roll right out of her head. Starting a garden is the worst idea in the history of the world. Chapter 2. Yee-haw and Yahoo. A few days went by. Nobody mentioned the vegetable garden. I thought Miss Stoker had forgotten about the idea. But then we were on playground during recess when she and Miss Banks came over to us. Follow me, kids, Miss Stoker said, bringing us to the side of the school. This is the spot where we are going to plant our vegetable garden. Miss Stoker took a deep breath and threw out her arms. She didn't throw out her arms away. She just put them like a scarecrow. This garden is gonna be great, she told us. You'll be out in fresh air, blah blah blah. We'll work the land, blah blah blah. We'll grow our own food, blah blah blah. It's time for all of us to stop staring at screens, said Miss Banks, and get back to nature, blah 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 blah. Then they went on like that for a while. I didn't know what were a gardener, Miss Stoker, said Andrea, who loved talking to grown-ups for no reason. Oh, I don't know anything about gardens, Miss Stoker replied, but I found somebody who is going to teach us how to start one. At that moment, I heard a noise in the distance. It was a motor. The noise got louder. We turned around, and then I saw some weird-looking machine coming down the street towards the school. It was a tractor, and here she comes now, said Miss Stoker. The tractor dove across the playground and stepped on the grass next to us. Yee-haw! The lady hopped off the tractor. She was wearing overalls, a straw hat, and a t-shirt that said, "Talk dirt to me," on a long piece of grass that was hanging out from her mouth. This is Miss Nichol, said Miss Stoker. Welcome to elementary school. Yee-hoo, said Miss Nichol. It's good to be here, y'all. Miss Nichols seemed kind of young, I said quietly. Oh, she is young, said Miss Banks, but she's outstanding in the field. No, she wasn't. She was wearing outstandingly in our field. Miss Stoker told us Miss Nichols grew up on a farm and that she recently graduated from college with a degree in organic farming. How you grow organics? I asked. Is that illegal? Yee-haw, yelled Miss Nichol. That's a knee slapper. She slapped her knee and laughed. Some grown-ups slap their knees when they laugh. Nobody knows why. Miss Nichols told us that she's a graduate student and she signed up to work with our school as a class project. She said she's studying to get her master's degree in botany. I guess that's science. I guess that's the science of bots. Bots are cool, I said. I used to watch a show called Robot Wars. They would have a bunch of remote control bots fighting each other to the death. Not those kind of bots, dumbhead, said Andrea, rolling her eyes. Botany is the science of plants. Andrea thinks she's so smart because she's a member of the PAC. That's the principal advisory committee, a group of nerds who boss around the principal. I was going to say something mean to her, but I couldn't think of anything good. I just love grown stuff, Nichol said Miss Nichols. Miss Nichols told us, I have a green thumb. You should see the doctor, I said. Think about it, y'all, she continued. Starting a garden is like teaching kids. Yeah, plant a seed, nursery it, and watch it spread and grow and blossom and mature and blah 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 blah. She went on and on just like a real grown-up. What a snooze fest. I'd rather play pickleball. Chapter 3. I Can Dig It. The next day, Miss Nichols arrived on her tractor again. This time, she was wearing a t-shirt that said, give peas a chance on it. And this time, there was a man with her. You'll never believe in 1,100,000 years who she got to help us work on the gardens. I'm not gonna tell you. Okay, I'll tell you. It was Miss Tony who runs our after-school program. He's a cool guy. One time he helped us try to get into Guinness World Record by making the biggest pizza in the world. The first thing Miss Nichols and Miss Tony did was take some long wooden boards and nail them together to make the border of our garden. Then she gave us each a shovel told us to start digging. We had to loosen up the dirt before we could plant anything. Y'all ready? Set, dig, shouted Miss Nichol. We all started digging. We dug and we dug and we dug. Hey, digging in the dirt with a shovel is hard work. Isn't that this what they make prisoners do on chain gang? Michael asked as he stopped to wipe the sweat off his face. Maybe we'll find the buried treasure under here, said Alexia. Yeah, said Neil. Buried treasure from an ancient civilization. Maybe we'll find a dead body, I said. That's not appropriate, Arlo, said Andrea. This is a children's book. Ha, Andrea thinks she's in a children's book. Can you believe that? What a dumbhead. We dug in the dirt for 1,100,000 hours. It was long, hard, boring work. We were all sweating in the end. Do you know what we found? Nothing. Just more dirt. I'm going to pass out, said Miss Nichol. She's gonna pass out, said Ryan. Give her some air, said Alexia. Call the ambulance, said Michael. I'm gonna pass out. Water and snacks, said Miss Nichol. Oh, we sat in the shade eating apple slice. this. Miss Nichols explained that our next step would be to plant seeds in the garden to grow stuff. So if we want to grow corn, we would plant corn seeds. If you want to grow apples, we could plant apple seeds, and so on. Duh, everybody knew that. What kind of seed are we going to plant? Asked Andrea. That's for you young uns to decide, replied Miss Nichols. It's your garden. You should plant what you love to eat. I love hot dogs, I said. Can we plant hot dog seeds? Andrea rolled her eyes. You can't plant hot dog, dumbhead, she said. Oh snap, said Ryan. Why can't a truck full of hot dogs fall on Andrea's head? I was going to say something mean to her, but I didn't have the chance because everybody started yelling out stuff they wanted to plant. I love donuts, said Neil. Hey, if we plant Cheerios, they might grow up to be donuts. Great idea. Neil should really be in the gifted and talented program. If we plant straws, said Andrea, we can grow strawberries. Can we plant peppermint? Asked them. Then we can grow candy canes. I'd like to plant jelly beans, said Ryan. That's probably go into lollipop. I bet if we plant eggs that we would grow eggplants, said Michael. That would make sense. And we could plant bird seeds to grow birds, said Neil. Everybody was coming up with good ideas for stuff to plant. Andrea just rolled her eyes. We should plant chicken nuggets, I suggested, so we could grow chickens. You can't grow chickens, Arlo, said Andrea. I knew that. Duh. I didn't want to grow chickens. I wanted to grow a chicken tree, and then the chicken will grow on the tree. Then just to show how much Andrea knows about gardening. I love it, y'all, said Miss Nichols. We'll start planting tomorrow. This was going to be the greatest garden in the history of the gardens. The next day, I came in with everything we need to start planting: Cheerios, straws, peppermint, jelly beans, eggs, birdseed, and chicken nuggets. Miss Nichols and Miss Tony helped us scoop out the dirt to do the planting, cover up the holes with dirt, and sprinkle water on top to make it all grow. We knew it was gonna make some time before anything grew in our garden, but still, we went out to there every day before school to see anything had spread. A week went by, nothing. 2 weeks went by, nothing. No donut, no strawberry, no candy canes, no eggplant, no bird, no lollipop, no chicken, no chicken tree, no nothing. It felt like we had to wait 1,100,000 years for something to grow. I thought I was gonna die from old age. We all were getting discouraged. What did we do wrong? I guess you have to wait a long time if you want to have a garden. It felt like it was gonna take 4 chapters for anything to grow. Chapter 4. Nothing grew. Asterisk. Why are you looking down here? Chapter 5. Still nothing grew. Nothing grew. Asterisk. I can't believe you looked down here again. Chapter 6. Guess what? Nothing grew. Nothing grew. Asterisk. Man, you fall for anything. But you can tell your teacher that you finished reading 3 whole chapters in a few seconds. You must be a speed reader.